If I told you the military helped make gay pride parades possible, you'd probably think that I'm crazy. But as it turns out, what was once thought to be one of gay people's biggest enemies was in fact one of its biggest allies. During World War II, the military created a nationwide coming out experience, bringing more visibility to the gay community than any organization in the country. You heard me right. Throughout American history, the military and gay people have been strange bedfellows. I'm a journalist, and I've written a book about all the strange and surprising ways that sex shapes our world, ranging from pornographers driving technology developments to Christian pastors inventing cereal because they wanted to stop people from masturbating. I'm really fascinated by paradoxes, and what's stood out to me the most with my research is how the military unwittingly strengthened gay identity in America. Now, before the 1940s, any soldier caught having gay sex would be court-martialed, discharged, and ultimately sent to military prison. But that lengthy process created an economic drain with the massive mobilization that was occurring during World War II. So, to speed things up, the military began discharging people who they suspected were gay even before they served. And by forcing these soldiers to confront their sexuality and ask questions of themselves that they had never asked before, the military encouraged them to discover their sexual orientation. And then after doing so, it shipped them off to a foreign land where they were exclusively surrounded by other lonely men. And it was in this environment that many soldiers had their first gay sexual experience. And they witnessed their peers have gay sex too, which led them to conclude that their desires weren't that unusual. They were even seeing straight guys like me going down in the trenches. And it wasn't just gay men who were affected by these policies, lesbians were too. Because of strict rules that limited the number of pregnant and married women who could serve, there were a disproportionate number of lesbians in the military during World War II. Like many years after the war, veterans told researchers that there were lesbians joining the service because they were hoping to find other lesbians there. It became a self-fulfilling prophecy and in some ways a gay meetup. Now, the discrimination that these soldiers faced emboldened them, and when they came back to the States, they began to fight for political change. It was veterans who founded several of America's first gay rights organizations, including groups like the Society for Human Rights and the Veterans Benevolent Association. And from the ashes of their discharges, gay neighborhoods arose. And that's because the military was publicly outing people at a time when there wasn't much tolerance. So instead of going home to fearful family members and friends, those who were discharged for their sexuality just stayed put in the city where they got kicked out of the service in. They eventually formed communities, banded together, and what resulted was large, visible gay districts in port cities like Los Angeles, New York City, and San Francisco. It's entirely possible that if the military wasn't drumming gay people out of the service, areas like the San Francisco Castro would not have become gay meccas. Now, the military has become a lot more accepting of who can serve, even in just the last 7 or 8 years. What I find more fascinating than this newfound acceptance is how it did a lot to bring visibility to gay culture. And let's go over how it did that. The military encouraged many individuals to discover their sexual orientation. It provided an environment where many individuals had their first gay sexual experience. It brought together individuals who went on to found the first gay rights advocacy groups in this country. And it contributed to the creation of large gay neighborhoods. And meanwhile, it was giving straight people another way to avoid service because during the Vietnam War, straight folks pretended they were gay so that they could get kicked out of the service and not have to go to war. That's a lot of things that have happened after the military decided that gay people just couldn't join its organization. It makes me think about all the things that may be going on in our society right now because we implemented some sort of hasty social policy that we didn't really fully understand. What the military's complex history with gay rights shows us is how some of the most restrictive parts of our lives are where we draw our greatest strength. You know, those prohibitive rules proved to be fertile ground for creativity, allowing gay soldiers to turn the homophobia back against their oppressors, which they then used to empower themselves as an emerging group in American culture. And this makes me wonder, how many of our own perceived enemies are actually our biggest advocates? Thank you.